Guys know how I do it. Today is Tuesday, so that can only mean one thing. On air with Russell of Hotels. In fact, it says right here that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about is show number 353. This is the monologue section of the show. So I just want to make sure that everything is working like it's supposed to be working. I need to make sure I'm live on the platforms I'm supposed to be live on. Okay, I think I just clicked on something. So I'm live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, right?
Monday Wilkinson.
Of course, as soon as I go live, someone wants to call me. Okay, I mean, who does that? I don't understand that. People don't know by now that at 1 o'clock PST I'm doing this show, but that's okay. I can always just turn it off, silence it, which I did. Hey, the chat is open, so feel free to make comments. Say, hey, what's going on? Doesn't matter if you're on Facebook. Doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, even Instagram. I see Miss Velvet Style Biz. That's Miss Tiffany. So she's over there on Instagram. So I appreciate you coming on, Miss Tiffany. So her and I are having this discussion about, Tiffany does my show. It's called the Daily Check-In with Tiffany and Russell on Mondays. Okay, which was yesterday. Okay, so we do it. We try to do it every Monday, and I asked her, was she going to join in for this show? So I didn't even know that the show was happening. I'm like, wait a minute, we've been doing this show for like a year, and you don't know that I do another show that's the longest running show that I've ever done, 353 episodes. It says it right here, right? She goes, well, you have to send me an invite. I'm like, are you serious? So I sent her an invite. Okay, so now that's the only reason she's on here, because I sent her an invite. And thank you so much, Miss Tiffany, for joining. So anyway, so once again, I'm Russell of Hotels, or Russell L. Edmond. That is my government name. But I do this show every Tuesday. Okay, so every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I also do a show called the Daily Check-In with Russell of Hotels, which comes on Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Okay, so you got 5 days a week of me. If you want it or not, you got 5 days a week of me. All right, so and we talk about things. There's topics. There's all kind of stuff that I talk about. So we're gonna get into that in a minute. Like I said, this is the monologue part, and I just want to make sure everything is working like it's supposed to be working. And like I said, I am live over on Instagram as well. So feel free to make comments over there on Instagram. Only problem with Instagram, I mean, it's not a problem. It's just that I can't show the comments on the screen here in real time so the whole world can see, because Instagram wants to be its separate thing, and that's fine. If that's what Instagram does, then, let Instagram be what Instagram is. So, but anyway, so I do have a topic today, and we'll get into that in a minute. I wanted to go over, I mentioned, on my little, I did like a little pre-show video or whatever, kind of what to expect. And I said, I have some bonus stuff that I'm going to cover too. Well, I do have some bonus stuff, but I'm trying to figure out, should I do it before or after I do the intro? I don't know. Let's see. Let me just see. Well, at least I can do a couple shout outs, right? Can I do a couple shout outs before I do the intro? Let's do that at least. Let's do that at least. So, real quick, shout out. I have a couple shout outs. One is to JT Long with Smart Meetings. Okay, so I had a brief meeting with her yesterday, a call, like a Google Meet call, and it was great. I haven't been, and this is the thing, I haven't been involved with Smart Meetings in some years, several years, and it was just great to reconnect and talk about what I'm doing, and kind of the direction, Smart Meetings is going and stuff like that, which is great. And it's always good to, to have those conversations, right? And maybe some things that I can do to, to promote or help, Smart Meetings, and some things that they can do to help, Russell of Hotels, right? So we talked about those things, and I'm just gonna say, just look for some stuff from Russell of Hotels, to maybe some maybe some, what am I trying to say? Some how to's, or what I would do, or some topics and things like that from Russell of Hotel. So just be on the lookout for that. And like I said, I just appreciate the opportunity to do things, and maybe write an article or two or something like that. So that's what I'm in the works of doing now. I'll let you know later when it comes out. Okay. So, but I just want to thank Once again, thank JT for just having the conversation with me and asking me to do a couple things and just hearing me out, and I appreciate that. So, and then also Mr. Doug Sanfilippo. Okay, so he's with Discover Santa Clara. Okay, now this is an interesting thing. Okay, so I always talk about visibility and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, Tiffany was talking, and Tiffany has business, right? I think we both have business, but Tiffany may have a little bit more business than I do, coming on. So she has some things that she hasn't booked in the foreseeable future, the near future. And we're just having a conversation on our show, right? And she said, I'm looking to book this meeting in California. I was like, where in California? She said, Santa Clara. And I'm like, wait a minute. Doug Sanfilippo mentioned that he has a new position in Santa Clara with Discover Santa Clara. He's the director of sales and marketing, right? I used to work with Doug when, back with Interstate Hotels. Well, I think this was before the new company took over. So was it still Interstate Hotels? Yeah, I think it was Interstate Hotels. So he used to work for them. In fact, he worked there for a long time. So I was a director of sales and marketing at a hotel. And of course, we reported to him as I want to say he was the VP of marketing or something like that, sales and marketing or whatever. So I know him, right? I know him. And he had just posted maybe a couple of days prior something on LinkedIn saying that he's now the new director of sales and marketing at Discover Santa Clara. Well, just so happened, Tiffany mentioned she needed something in Santa Clara, meaning a hotel and event space and all that kind of stuff for an event that's going on with her organization that she represents. So I was able to let her know that, all because I saw it on LinkedIn. And for people that sleep on LinkedIn, they don't think it's like this business development tool. Shame on you. You guys are sleeping. I mean, obviously you're sleeping on it, right? Because that is a prime example of why visibility is key, right? If Doug was not visible, I would not have seen him. I would not have been able to refer him or refer Tiffany to him, right? So since then, they've connected on LinkedIn. I know there's some messages going back and forth now, but that initial contact came because I saw him on LinkedIn. He sent out a message saying that he is now with Discover Santa Clara. Had I not seen that, I would not have known. Had he not been on LinkedIn, I would not have known. So for people that sleep on LinkedIn, you need to wake up. Okay, wake up. Okay, so anyway, okay, I see a comment. I know you do the show, just couldn't remember what time. Yeah, okay, Tiffany, yeah, whatever. Okay, so Tiffany made a comment over there on Instagram or whatever. But anyway, once again, shout out to Doug Sanfilippo as well as JT Long with Smart Meetings. Appreciate you guys. And, and Doug, I mean, good job of being visible, because I always say this, visibility is key. The person, if you're not visible, what? You're invisible. Who came up with that one? Hello, me. If you're not visible, you're invisible. I'm just going to say that. And you let that percolate and marinate while I start this intro, and then we'll come back to start the show. Okay. Once again, this is show number, what show is this? Hold on one second. This is show number 353 on air with Russell of Hotels. That's that live hospitality talk show that comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock PST. All right. So let me start this intro and we'll be back in about a minute. Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show. We already know the tagline, right? Everyone's talking about. This is show number 353. I do appreciate it. Today is Tuesday, July 21st. You know, a countdown to the Love Family Reunion, Family and Friends Reunion. That's coming up this Friday and Saturday. And part of the day on Sunday, right? So this is a reunion that I'm a part of. It's my family, right? And I've selected the hotel or helped select the hotel, right? So that's my job, right? So within the family, within our family structure, we have a planning committee or whatever reunion committee, and everyone has their roles, right? Like there's someone that does the t-shirts, there's someone that does the finance, there's someone that does the meals, there's someone that does the barbecue, there's someone, everybody has their own role. Of course, I do the hotel, right? So I find the hotel, but after the hotel's found, everyone else jumps in and does what they need to do, right? So and that's coming up on this week. So shout out to the Pacific Palms Resort and Golf at City of Industry, right? So that's right outside of LA. That's where it's going to be. It's only about 30 minutes from here, 30-40 minutes from me, but we just make it a whole staycation, right? So that's what family, they tend to forget that, okay, although it's, oh, I can go home every day and come back. And you know what? Take advantage of it. It's a staycation, okay? I don't care if you live in a greater LA area or not. If your family, you need to, take advantage of the opportunity to stay in the hotel, maybe play golf or, spend more time with family. And if you're going back and forth on the freeway, highways, going home and coming back, well, you're going to miss some stuff, right? So I don't know why I said that, but I just thought it was important that someone needed to hear that, right? So once again, we're doing this Thursday at the Pacific Palms Resort and Golf Club or golf course or whatever they want to call it out there in City of Industry, which is, like I said, about 30 minutes from downtown LA. So right off this, it's between the 60 and the 10 freeway. So right off of Azusa. So anyway, I see a chat or something in the chat here. What does that say? Yay, Doug, thanks for connection. Yes, who's that from? Thanks for the connection. Oh, it must be from Tiffany. Okay, so I appreciate you, Tiffany. So I'll just put that comment on there. See, boom, this came from a LinkedIn user. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't come up as the person. It comes up as the LinkedIn user. I'm not sure why but someone needs to fix that. Okay, Tiffany, you need to fix that if that's you. But you say, yay, Doug, thanks for the connection. So once again, if you sleep on LinkedIn, shame on you. And if you're not visible, you're invisible. So we all have a brand, right? We all have a brand, and a lot of people think the brand is who we work for. No, before we even get to that, the brand is you. We buy you before we buy whatever you're selling, okay, or whatever organization you work for, okay? So Doug, we're gonna buy Doug before we even get to discover Santa Clara, okay? That's just how it is. That's just how it works, right? So always make sure we're as visible as we can. We're using this LinkedIn tool for what it is. It's business development, okay? It's not Facebook, okay? Let Facebook be Facebook. Let LinkedIn be LinkedIn, okay? So you shouldn't be Facebooking on LinkedIn, and you shouldn't be LinkedIning on Facebook. If that even makes sense, right? But I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So let's just make sure that we're using the tools as they were made to be used, okay? So anyway, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna jump into this. In fact, I hate when it does that. So once again, it's show number 353, and then we can jump over here to this. So we already know it's show 53, it's 353, right? So I'm Russell L. Edmond, go by the name of Russell of Hotels. And okay, every time I do a show, I'm always going to showcase a hotel, okay? And today's hotel happened to be one I stayed at not too long ago, and it was a good thing I stayed there. So because now I have a potential group for this particular hotel, right? Now, had I not stayed there, I wouldn't have known about this hotel. I probably would have known about it, but it's one thing to know about something. It's quite something else to experience it, okay? And just think, is this the right hotel? Will this fit for this particular group? And I think for the particular group that I'm working with, yes, it will. And this is the Aloft by Marriott in New Orleans. So for people that don't know what NOLA means, that means New Orleans, okay? New Orleans, Louisiana, okay? Some people don't even know, like, NOLA, what is NOLA? Oh my God, where is that at? Yeah, it's New Orleans, okay? So in Louisiana. So put it all together and you got NOLA. So 188 guest rooms, 3,500 square feet of meeting space. I think it's great. It's located downtown, so it's in walking distance of certain things that maybe people want to do. They have uh, bus parking around the corner, and this particular group needs like parking for a motor coach. So this will be ideal for this particular group that I'm working with. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if that's gonna work out. But my job is to present hotels to my clients, and they choose the hotel. Now, if they have ask questions about what do you think about this, what do you think about that? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give my expert opinion on certain things. But at the end of the day, they have to sign the contract. They have to agree to everything. My job is to basically explain everything to them, right? Show them the hotels, present multiple hotels to them, and it's up to them to do that. So once again, this is the Aloft. I was there maybe I guess it was last year, something like that, and a nice hotel, but it's not. It's kind of a no frills. It's one of those select service or yeah select service hotel where there's not a lot of services, although they do serve a breakfast in the morning, I believe. They have a pool table, but the rooms are like no frills. I mean, it's like as basic as it can be, right? But they're nice, it's clean, right? And all they need is to sleep in it. They don't need, there's no meetings going on there. So this is a rooms only group, okay? And it's kids, they're doing a college tour, okay? So that's okay, right? So you don't need all the bells and whistles, but you have to know your client, right? Always know your client, know where they've stayed before, know where they're interested in staying this time, okay? Um, and I said I would never, and I told this potential client that I said I would never put any group in any hotel that I wouldn't stay in. So if I wouldn't stay in a hotel, I'm not going to show it to you. If I don't stay in Motel Sixes, and I have nothing against Motel Sixes, but I don't think I've ever stayed in one. Okay. And for the most part, I probably would not recommend it because I've never stayed there and I wouldn't stay there. Okay. So I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. So anyway, I see another comment. What does it say? Hi, Russell. What does it say? Hi, Russell. It's Julie. Oh, what's up? What's up, Juliet? How are you? This is Clifford's sister. Okay, all right. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but thank you so much for joining in. But why are you on Cliff's page? Okay, why is Cliff not talking? Okay, but anyway, no, I appreciate you coming on. And this is what happens. See, so somebody makes a comment, those comments automatically go on the screen. Okay, so if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. No, not LinkedIn. I'm sorry. No, yeah, I'm right. I'm wrong. LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're on either one of those platforms, I could put your comments on the screen. If you're on Instagram, I cannot. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But I can just mention your comments if you're on Instagram. So, but no, thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate you coming on and letting us know that you're there. So, see, that's what you do. So, people make comments and your comments automatically show for the whole world to see. Okay, this is an international show. Okay, it's not just in LA or California. No, this is international, all over the place, right? So anyway, but no, thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate that. Let's move forward. And like I said, no, that's not what I want to show. That is not what I want to show. Okay, so that's the bed. This is the bedroom, and I didn't get the whole bedroom. I think I did a video, but I didn't. I'm not showing it today. But like I said, it's a nice hotel, clean, no frills. It's by Marriott, so you do get your points, right? You get your bond voice. But it's very minimal. It's minimalist. Okay, that's a good word. That's a good way of putting it. It's a minimalist hotel. Okay, so there's not a lot that's going on there. The bed is comfortable. They have a TV that's probably regulation, 50-inch or whatever the heck it is, Marriott standards or whatever. But and it has a good view. I mean, I think you can see the Mississippi from there. I want to say you can see the Mississippi River from where my room is because it was facing that way. But just it's a tower building located downtown, not too far from like the French Quarter. So there's some things that are in the area that I don't know if you want to walk there, but if you're walking there, I don't know if I'll walk at night. But anyway, that's just me, coming from LA, right? So that's any big city that you go to, right? You always want to be comfortable enough to do certain things, right? And this is a student group, so I would be cautious and let them know that, hey, this is a college group, a student group, or they're in high school. Um, and then just make sure that your client is familiar with the downtown area and letting them know that, okay, this is what the hotel people tell me, whatever that is. Be cautious here, be cautious there. All that kind of stuff, right, is important, especially when you're referring someone to a particular hotel located in a certain area. Okay, but me myself, I didn't have any issues there. The hotel was fine. The area was fine. I think there's Starbucks across the street. I mean, you can't beat that. If it's Starbucks across the street, then you're good, right? So, but anyway, once again, this is the Aloft by Marriott, 188 guest rooms, 3,500 square feet of meeting space. Let's see. This is another part of the lobby. You can see the outside right there, and there's a pool table here as well, I believe. Boom. Yeah, little entertainment. You want to go there and play a little pool, shoot a little pool. Why not? Kids love to play pool. At least they love to try. And bar. Now the kids wouldn't be at the bar. Okay, so that's not we're not condoning that. Okay, but they definitely have a bar area, and it's a lot of glass, a lot of windows, which is good, right? So it gives a feeling that it's bigger than it probably is, right? But they do have a bar, and then they had this thing that I thought was kind of interesting, right? And I had to take advantage of it. Okay, so right here, it's like a backdrop, right? So say you do a podcast or whatever, you can use that as a backdrop. And guess what? That's what I did, right? I did a live from there and I utilized that backdrop. I had my laptop with me and all that stuff and had my camera and I can use my phone as the camera, right? So I had my tripod and everything. I just set it up and did a live from right in front of that backdrop right there. And it just worked out perfectly. So I don't know why they thought about that, but I took advantage of it, right? So there you go. There you go. So once again, that's the Aloft by Marriott in New Orleans, New Orleans. And I see another comment. Let me check this comment out. The video has great info. Well, you know what? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate that. This video has great content info, Russ. Okay. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. I'm always, you know, is there more? Is there more comments out there? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's see. Okay, so get into the questions, right? Or get into the topic. So every time I do one of these shows, there's a topic, and we'll go into that. The three most important questions every meeting professional should ask during a site visit. Okay, now a site visit for people on the outside that really don't know, when we're planning or we're looking at hotels to present to our clients, right? It behooves us to see as many hotels in person as we can. Okay, that's called a site visit, a site tour, and it helps you make up your mind like what hotels that I would want to select to show my client, right? And some of us do things sight unseen, meaning we'll select hotels and we never even seen these hotels. But I suggest that we always see as many hotels as we can. Okay. So even if I've flown in for the day just to see hotels and flown back out the next day or the same day, right? It just depends on how important this group is, how big it is. And yeah, and what's the time frame in which they need to book this, right? So yeah, so at the spur of a hat, at the drop of a hat, I'm gonna go and check out the hotel, right? So if it was New Orleans, I would have to go to New Orleans and check it out, right? If it's in New York, well then damn it, I got to go to New York, right? So that's the important thing about doing a site tour or a site visit. But there's other things that questions that you want answered before you even consider that hotel. Okay, so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that right now. So where my questions are at. That'd be good if I can find those questions, right? So once again, the three most important questions every meeting professional should ask during a site visit. In fact, I have to bring out my iPad so I can see this stuff. Okay. And I have an introduction first. I have to read this before I even get to it, right? A site visit isn't just about seeing the ballroom or meeting space. It's about determining whether you can confidently recommend this hotel to your client. Great planners don't just inspect the property, they evaluate the entire guest experience, right? So sometimes you got to put yourself in the shoes of the attendee, okay? Okay, sometimes you have to do that. Well, a lot of times you have to do that. So number one, can this hotel deliver the experience my attendees expect? Don't just tour the meeting space. Follow the journey your attendees will take. Follow the journey your attendees will take. Meaning, once again, you get in their shoes, right? You walk in their shoes. What will they experience? What will they encounter? Okay, well, you won't know unless you stay there yourself, right? So you have to go and check it out and see exactly, okay, where are the elevator banks? Okay, experience that, right? Where are the rooms located? Where do you think the most of the rooms will be? Which floors? How many floors are there? There's 24 floors. Okay, well, there's 24 floors. They could be all over the place. I mean, you always want to try to get all your group on one floor if you can, one or two floors, or in the same vicinity if you can. But sometimes you're at the mercy of rooms that have already been booked before your group gets there, right? Maybe there's multiple groups there that have nothing to do with yours. But those are questions that you ask, right? So how long does it take? If I'm on a 24th floor, how long does it take for the elevator to get there? How long does it take for me to get down to the bottom? During the time that you expect your attendees to be downstairs for breakfast for the general session, right? So if they need to be there at 8 o'clock, you need to experience it like 7:30. Okay, 7:30. I'm at the elevator bank. 7:30 a.m. I'm at the elevator bank pushing the button. How long does it take to get there? Are the elevators slow? Were the elevators all working? How many elevators are there? Are there three? Okay, are there only two? Is there only one? Okay, it all matters. So those things we have to, and we would only know if we've experienced it, if we're there and we checked it out for ourselves, right? Or maybe you have a trusted advisor that maybe has used that hotel before, and that's fine to do that as well, because I've done that before, right? Where if I couldn't go to the hotel, I at least reached out to someone, a trusted source, and said, "Hey, um, I can't make it to the Aloft Hotel in New Orleans, but I know you've been there. What do you think about that hotel?" And I have this group of 130 people, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, the elevator, they have three elevators, blah blah blah. Whatever the heck it is, right? But you want to make sure you experience what the guest has experienced. So once again, can this hotel deliver the experience my attendees expect? So, and I'm gonna read this again. Don't just tour the meeting space. Follow the journey attendees will take. Ask yourself if is the arrival experience, is it welcoming? Okay, are you being welcome? Or are you just walking in and no one's saying anything to you? That's one thing, right? Are the guest rooms clean, quiet, and well maintained? Like I said about this hotel, the Aloft, it was, right. It was no frills, but it was definitely clean. It was well maintained, right? Are the restaurants, lobby, and public spaces inviting? Are they open air? Can you see? Or are they dark and gloomy? Okay. Remember, I have a group of kids coming here, right? High school age kids, and of course, there's some chaperones as well, right? But you want to make sure that this appeals to them. You don't want something that is dark and gloomy and has like little corners and all this kind of stuff where stuff can happen, right? Potential stuff can happen. You always want to make sure you put your shoes or your feet in the shoes of your attendees, not necessarily the person that you're working for, the planner, but the attendees. And way you know that, you have to ask, how are these attendees? Who are they? What's the makeup of these people, right? Well, I know these are students, right? I know they're going off a student tour, which means to me, a lot of them have never traveled before. Mm, So you got to take that into advisement as well. Take a mental note there. Arthur said that, does the hotel reflect the image my client wants to project? Every client is different, right? Every group is different. Corporate, high-end corporate group versus a student group, okay? The first-time travelers. It's a totally different thing. It may be a totally different hotel that you're utilizing. It probably will be, right? But you have to know those things, right? You have to ask those questions, get those questions answered before you start looking at hotels, right? Do they want 5-diamond, 4-diamond, 5-diamond hotels, or are they okay with a select service hotel? Okay, which this one is, the Aloft was, okay, which is still good, right? Um, an ROH tip, Russell of Hotels tip, okay? Stay at the hotel for one night, okay? Now, I would do this without my sales contact knowing, okay? Meaning I got to pay for it. I guess I got to pay for it, right? Because if you have them pay for it, they're going to know that you're there, right? And then, of course, you're going to get experience that maybe just your regular Joe Blow wouldn't, right? Now, I've done this before where I paid on my own. I said, I'm just going to come and stay at this hotel because I want to get, an unbiased view of this hotel, meaning no one is oh, Russell Hotels is here, or, he's representing this one group or whatever. We're going to send him room service. We're going to do this for him. We're going to do it. No, I don't want anybody to know I'm there because I want the real deal. I want the real experience. And I can only get it if I'm just checking in as Russell L. Edmond. Okay. And a lot of times that's what I do, right? So I just go in there, check in, and see exactly, is this the right hotel for this particular group? Check in like a guest, sleep in the room, order room service, use the Wi-Fi, ride the elevators. Very important. Visit the fitness center, have breakfast. Okay. A site visit shows you the hotel. An overnight stay lets you experience it the way your attendees will. Number 2. See, and I only got 3 of these, okay? So just calm down. We're going to get to them. Just relax. Number two, is this hotel operationally ready for my event? That's a good one, right? And I'm going to tell you why that's a good one. Beautiful facilities don't guarantee flawless execution. No, it doesn't. Ask yourself this: who will manage my event on site? You have to find this out. Who's going to manage it? Is it convention services? Okay, conference services, whatever they call it. Who is that person? Who am I going to be assigned once that contract is signed? Because once the contract is signed, the salesperson is out of the loop now. You're turned over, I guess depends on the size of the hotel. Normally you're turned over to a convention services person. They handle everything else, right? Maybe if you have a lunch or a breakfast or a meeting space, the rooming list, all that stuff, they will handle all that. The payment, they will handle all that. The salesperson is just there to sell it, right? They're there to sell it. Okay, you need 50 guest rooms, blah, 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 and meeting space for 100 people or whatever. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay, so they're just scratching the surface. Now, once it's been signed, it gets turned over to someone else. Okay, well, who's that person that is being turned over to? Because I need to have a good relationship with them as well. Okay, so who will manage my event on site? Our banquet and operations team fully staffed. Remember, since COVID, are all hotels back to the pre-COVID levels? I mean, it's been 6 years, okay? But some hotels, you'd be surprised, some hotels are still, understaffed. They're not staffed like they once were, okay? So is that an issue? Find that out there. You have to ask the question. Some hotels maybe have been, okay? But some hotels are not. So ask that question. Don't assume that, oh, they're back to pre-COVID levels. No, don't assume anything. Find this out. Are we running at full staff? And what does that look like? Ask them, what does that look like? What other groups will be in-house during my event? That makes a huge difference, especially if you're a pharmaceutical group. Okay, maybe there's 2 pharmaceutical groups. There's a non-compete clause with pharmaceutical groups. They can't have multiple farm groups in the same hotel at the same time. Just can't happen. It's not legal. Okay, so check to find out. And I think by now you would probably know that, right? But ask those questions. And like say, I have this kids group. Well, you don't want some wild adult, you know what I'm talking about. An adult group in there that's doing their thing, right? I had to at this one hotel I worked in. It was like, what do they call it? A swingers group. Okay, it's a swingers group. It was on the holiday. It was like New Year's Eve, and there was a swingers group. Then they would be doing things everywhere throughout the hotel. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And of course, I had to work it. But anyway, I think I volunteered to work it. But yeah, so you want to ask who else, what other groups are being booked during the same time, especially if I have a high school group, right? I don't want a high school group in the same hotel as a swingers group, okay? That would not, that's a disaster waiting to happen, okay? You don't want that, okay? So just ask the question. Are there any planned renovations or construction? Okay, that's a huge thing. Now, I worked at a hotel and I was on the other end. Okay, so you guys all know that, or maybe you don't know. Okay, I used to be a director of sales and marketing, a general manager, all kind of positions on the hotel side. Right, 7 years ago, I left to do my own thing, Russell of Hotels. Which one thing I do is hotel site selection. Right, so I source hotels for my clients, for companies, organizations, whatever. Okay. So when I was on the hotel side, I was a director of sales and marketing, and we booked this big group, right? It was their annual convention. And at the time they booked, the hotel was under construction. Okay. We were doing some renovation, and it was at least a year out, right? And our general manager, our whole team, our engineering team, whatever, assured the group, they assured us as well as the group that, oh yeah, this will be done by the time your group gets here, right? Well, I'm gonna make a long story short, they were not. And as we got closer, as the group got closer to coming in, remember, initially they signed the contract at least a year out, maybe a little longer than a year out, right? So, oh, everything's gonna be done. And it's gonna look great. Oh, we saw the rendering. So, we can pour this stuff on, right? Well, as we're getting closer, like say 6 months out, they come back and look, it's still under construction. Oh, is it going to be ready? Oh, yeah, of course it's going to be ready. Okay, 4 months out, they come back. "Oh, is it going to be ready? Oh, yeah, it's going to be done. Yeah, we're like next week it's going to be done. Come back a month out, still under construction. Oh, it's going to be great. And then to add to that, the elevators were inconsistent. We have 4 elevator banks, right? So 4 elevators. A lot of times, only 2 of them were working. Okay, this group was like 350 to between 350 and 450 people. I can't remember exactly. And they had this one, their opening reception was on the top floor, okay, overlooking the city. You can see the valley. Oh, it's beautiful at night. Oh, this and that. But the problem was all couldn't get up there because on that same day, or needless to say, when they checked in, construction was still going on. Okay. We had promised them that everything was going to go according to plan. Oh no, it's going to be done. It's going to be ready, right? We basically lied to them. We peed on their head and said it was raining. Okay. And oh my God, it was the worst experience of my life, right? Because I had to co-sign. I mean, because they're telling me I don't do construction, right? But which that made me learn that anything like this that happens on the meeting side, I'm gonna tell my client I wouldn't book there, and this is the reason why. Construction never goes according to plan. Okay, that's probably the third or fourth time that I have dealt with construction or renovation or opening up a new hotel. This is my first time being in sales, though. This is the first time in sales, right? And of course, I'm the director, so I'm like painting this picture like everything is going to be great, right? Well, no, it was quite a disaster. Okay, and it was quite embarrassing. Okay, and so moving forward, I would never, if there's any construction going on, we're not booking there. I'm gonna tell the client I would not book there because of this, and I'll share my experiences with them as well, just like I'm sharing them with you. So, are there planned renovations or constructions? Find that out, right? Because sometimes, and you want that in writing, okay? Because sometimes it's not up to the hotel staff that's doing it, it's the ownership and all that. Oh, we got money now, so we got to do it now. Okay. But I would make sure I have in my contract sign something, that an addendum or a clause in there. If there's construction, we're entitled to this, we're entitled to that. Okay. So that's something you should look out for. Why it matters. Your attendees don't care how beautiful the ballroom is. If service is slow, elevators are backed up, or staff are overwhelmed. Okay. They don't care how beautiful it is. All they care about is the service slow? Elevators suck. Okay. All that stuff. Construction going, that's what they care about. Okay. So make sure whatever you're promising, you can get. The hotel, well, it goes for the hotel, right? But as meeting planners, meeting professionals, we have to ask that question. We have to ask those extra questions that can, it can result in the success or failure of that meeting. Okay. Number 3, how will this hotel handle challenges? Every hotel is going to have challenges, or every meeting is going to have a challenge or two. Okay. In fact, hold on one second. Let me just check over here, see if there's any comments. I see Miss Cheryl. Is there construction happening during my dates? There you go. The good one, Cheryl. Yeah. So Cheryl is all about the experiences. She happens to be a client of mine. So I appreciate you coming on, Miss Cheryl. And we appreciate your experiences. Okay. Thank you. So once again, how will this hotel handle challenges? Every event has unexpected moments. Okay. The question isn't if, sometimes something will happen. Wait a minute. The question isn't if something will happen, it's how the hotel responds. Okay. Because there's going to be some shit that's going to go down. Okay. So how is the hotel going to respond to that? Who was my primary contact before and during the event? You have to know that, right? Because people change all the time. And, it does happen, right? So a lot of time, well, not a lot of times, but this has happened to me quite frequently. In fact, this group that I have going on, this family reunion at the Pacific Palms, that happened there, my sales contact left. Okay. So sign the contract, everything's great. Oh, he showed, everything's great. I'm your point of contact, blah, 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 blah. Well, he left. Okay. So I got a new point of contact, and I got it via email. It does happen. And I'm not mad at Julio for going and taking another position. I congratulated him, right? I know these things happen, but you need to know, okay, moving forward, who's going to pick up the ball. Okay. And one thing I can say about the Pacific Palms, on the day that Julio left, someone emailed me and said, hey, Julio's last day was Friday. I'm so-and-so, and I'm picking up the ball on Monday, and I will be your point of contact. That's what you want, right? It's not about, I'm mad because someone left. No, I'll be mad if no one else picked up the ball, right? Things are going to happen. I've been in this industry a long time, and I know people leave all the time, right? A lot of times for, greener pastures, and Julio did that. So I just said, well, congratulations, Julio. Who the hell's in charge now? But no, the other person stepped up, and I do appreciate that. It does matter. Let's see, where am I? Who has the authority to solve problems immediately? So once you get this new contact person, you need to know who has the authority. Who do I need to contact if something comes up that that can override anything and just basically say, hey, I'm going to handle this. Who is that person? Is that the general manager? Is that the convention services person? Is that the salesperson? Whoever it is, I need to know who that is. And will that person be there during my event? Because what if my event's over a weekend? And, sometimes managers, they take those days off. Okay. They do. We understand. Everybody needs a day off, right? But I just need to know who's in charge over the weekend for my group. I'm not concerned about anything else. I'm concerned about my group and who's going to be in charge just in case something happens. Can you share an example of how your team handled a recent event challenge? I guarantee you they'll be at a loss for words if you ask that question. They'll be like, well, let me think about that for a second. Yeah, ask them that. Can you share an example of how your team handled a recent event challenge? If they say, oh, we never have any challenges during our events, they're full of it, right? Run if they say that, okay? Because every hotel has its challenges. It's just, how do you handle those challenges? How do they step up and take care of those things, right? We're always going to have issues at hotels, okay? Sometimes they can be minimum, sometimes they can be large, but how were they handled, okay? So there you go. Why it matters. The best hotel partner isn't the one that never has problems. It's the one that communicates, adapts, and resolves them quickly. Okay, so there you go, boy. I'm on it today. I'm on it. In closing, a successful site visit isn't about confirming what looks good. It's about uncovering what your attendees will actually experience. And whenever possible, don't just tour the hotel, stay at the hotel. There's no better way to evaluate the guest experience than becoming the guest yourself. Okay. So that's my advice right there. Right. And I got a question for anyone out there. Okay. That's listening. What one question you always ask during a site visit that has saved you from making a bad venue decision? Okay. So what questions would you ask? What's one question you always ask during the site visit that has saved you from making a bad venue decision? Meaning you asked one question and they answered it and you didn't like, or they didn't answer it. And you say, you know what? I'm not choosing this venue or this hotel. I'm going somewhere else. Okay. If you have that to share it with me. Okay. If not, that's okay. And although I do love, people to come on live, but you can still answer that question even when it's not live, right? So I love like I said, I love, like Cheryl and Julie and Tiffany are there on the live, but I do value the people that come on after on the replay as well. So it doesn't matter to me if you're live or you're looking at the repeat or the replay. I just appreciate you coming on. Okay. I appreciate you listening to this content and, making your comments or whatever. So it doesn't matter if it's live or if it's next week. I don't care because this content will never disappear. I don't delete it. It stays there forever because people can learn from it. So the more you leave things out there, the more you stay visible. That's one thing. And the more people see that, oh, there's some good, valuable information out there. I'm going to use that as a resource. And that's what I hope to be, a resource for people, especially when it comes to this hotel space, this hospitality space that we deal with on a daily basis. And it's not all about if you're an expert on this stuff. There's a lot of novice people out there that don't know about contracts and addendums and meetings and selecting space or how you do that, site tours, site visits. 10 rooms or more is considered a group, right? I mean, ADR is average daily rate. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of terminology that we use that I'm trying to basically say level the playing field. My job is to educate people out there, right? If you're a novice, I'm here to educate you. If you think you know every damn thing, okay, I probably can educate you as well, okay? Or maybe you can educate me, okay? That's fine, right? But I'm trying to present this information so anybody can understand it and like, okay, I do plan things for my family, right? What do I need to do? 10 rooms or more is considered a group, okay? So normally you get a discount off those rooms, right? 10 or more is considered a group. But remember this, someone has to sign a contract, okay? So if you have 10 rooms or more, that means you're guaranteeing that hotel that you're going to come up with 10 rooms, okay? And so this is what happens, right? So say if it's a 100-room hotel, you take 10 of those rooms, right? You're responsible for 10. Now that hotel, instead of being 100 rooms, now it's only 90, okay? So they sell the 90 because they're giving you 10 rooms, right? So, but you're responsible for those 10 rooms. And they want you to pick those up, meaning they want you to pay for those rooms, right? And that's where the contract comes. Now, there's some hotels that will give you a courtesy block, okay? They don't do that as often as they used to, okay? Back in the day, like, oh, I have this family reunion or I have this wedding block, can you give me 10 courtesy rooms, right? Meaning if you pick them up, that's fine. If you don't pick them up, that's fine. No one's going to be penalized. There's no contract. No, that happens sometime in rare occasions, depending on the hotel. But no, they want some guaranteed money. They want some guaranteed revenue. All right. So they want you to sign a contract. And once you sign that contract, boom, you're on the hook. You're responsible for that group, at least 80% of it, right? And just like the family reunion, right? You think they gave me a courtesy block? No, they want their money. And just so happened, check this out. I blocked out 25 rooms a night. So 50 room nights, because this is for a Friday and Saturday night. You know what we picked up? So that's 50, right? We picked up over 90, almost 100. It's probably 100 room nights now, okay? Because I haven't checked in a couple of days. So yeah, so they almost double. So I'm off the hook, right? So I don't have to worry about it. In fact, this was 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I haven't worried at all because I've been in situations and I'm responsible for those rooms. So if they don't pick them up, I have to pay the difference. Okay. I do. Russell Edmond has to because it's my group, right? So I'm not the meeting, I'm not just the meeting planner, but I'm the user, right? I'm the client too, right? So yeah, so any questions about that? I mean, if you're doing your family reunion, I mean, I'm here to answer any questions there is. I mean, online, offline, doesn't matter. My phone number is, in fact, right here, right? What's this? Where am I? Right here, QR code. You see the QR code right there? Take your phone, put the camera feature on there, put it over there. Bing. All my information is there, right? You'll see me like smiling, like, hey, I'm here to help. So no, so just make sure if you have any questions at all, use the QR code. What time is it? I got 8 minutes. Okay, so there you go. So everything's going okay here. So what is my last thing? Be visible, be intentional, be remembered. Remember that. Okay. Be visible, be intentional, be remembered. Okay, so one of the last things I always do is who's hiring? There's some jobs out there. Some people want some jobs. They need some jobs, right? Okay, so I have a couple jobs out here, and these are in the greater LA area for the most part. Greater LA, I think it goes as far as Orange County, but that's greater LA, right? So I have a few of those, and there's some good ones on here today. Okay, there's some real good ones. So listen, Hilton Woodland Hills. I used to work there back in the day. That was my first sales experience. Hilton Woodland Hills, which is they call it Warner Center. Okay, right there on Canoga, right after 101, right off the 101 freeway. So the Hilton Woodland Hills, they're looking for a director of sales and marketing. Man, I would love that job, right? No, I wouldn't these days. There is a job on here that I would love, though, right? I'm gonna tell you which one it is, right? So once again, the Hilton Woodland Hills, they're looking for a director of sales and marketing. That's a beautiful hotel, great hotel. You do compete with the Marriott down the street, but that's okay, right? When I was there, we competed with the Marriott, and we used to steal business from the Marriott all the time. Okay, the Marriott was the big fish, but the Hilton was a little brother, little sister, whatever. They're like, we're not gonna worry about them. Oh shit, I came in there kicking ass and taking names. Okay, so but anyway, that was back in the day. But I love this hotel. They've renovated it recently. You need to check it out. If you're interested in being a director of sales and marketing at the Hilton Woodland Hills, I would co-sign on that one. Okay. The Eddie Redondo Beach. Now, this is a new hotel. I'm not sure where it is, but I happen to see this on Indeed.com, I believe. It's called Eddie, Eddy, Redondo Beach. And I want to say this is a new build. It's Quorum Hospitality. Not really familiar with them as well. They're looking for a director of sales and marketing as well. So it's in Redondo Beach, right? So it can't be a bad place, right? So it sounds like it's probably kind of hip and schwanky. You may want to check that one out. The Style by Casa, downtown LA. Now, Casa is that company that they partnered with Marriott maybe last year, and Casa wasn't paying their bills, and Marriott pulled the plug, say, you know what, we're not partnering with you anymore. And now the Casa's on their own. I mean, just look it up. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. Just do Casa Marriott relationship. Just Google that and you'll see what pops up. I ain't making nothing up. Okay. So Style by Casa, downtown LA. They're looking for a director of sales. Embassy Suites in Brea. That's in Orange County. That's part of the Windsor Capital Group. They're looking for a director of sales as well. The Marriott International. They're looking for a sales executive, and this is in Irvine. So I would think probably the Irvine Marriott, I would guess. And then this is the job if I'm out there, this is the job I'm trying to get. Pasadena CVB, Pasadena Convention and Visitors Bureau. Okay. To me, once you worked in the hotels, you've done everything else in hospitality, sales-wise. To me, the pinnacle, the piece de resistance is a CVB, because I never worked at a CVB before, right? Convention and Visitors Bureau. So you're responsible for selling a destination, not just the hotel, but everything within that destination. The businesses, meaning the restaurants, the movie theaters. I mean, all that stuff. You're responsible for that, right? And of course, the hotels the meeting space, all this, the Rose Bowl. You're responsible for all that stuff, right? That's why, and Pasadena is a great destination. A lot of people think Pasadena is just about the Rose Parade and the Rose Bowl. No, Pasadena is a great venue, or a great destination. They have some great venues there. So why not be a part of that, right? So Pasadena CVB, they're looking for a national sales manager. Hopefully, they're adding someone and they didn't subtract someone from their team. I don't know. Okay, I'm hoping that's not the case, because I know people there. I love the people at Pasadena. Okay, so hopefully they're adding. This is a new position. Okay, I don't know, but I'm hoping that's what that is. But yeah, so those are the positions that are open. Once again, Hilton Woodland Hills, they're looking for a director of sales and marketing. The Eddie Redondo Beach, I want to say that's a new build. They're looking for a director of sales and marketing. Style by Casa, downtown LA, director of sales. Embassy Suites in Brea, part of the Windsor Capital Group. They're looking for a director of sales. Marriott International in Irvine, looking for a sales executive. And Pasadena CVB, they're looking for a national sales manager. So those are all on Indeed.com. So check those out. And then, did I mention that I'm attending the Destination California in San Francisco, August 30th through September 1st? I'll be there. So hopefully I'll meet you there. So there you go. So once again, I got 2 minutes, right? So perfect, right? Perfect. So anyway, that's it. I want to thank you guys so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show everyone's talking about. I do this show every Tuesday. Okay, every Tuesday. Today is show number. Did I tell you show number 353? I believe I did. Where is it at? Where's my information? Okay, boom, there it is. So yeah, it was show number 353. I appreciate it. Once again, I do a daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So tomorrow is Wednesday. I'll do it tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So there you go. Any questions at all? Once again, feel free to just click on this QR code right above me and just use your phone, your camera on your phone, and all the information will come to you. And you'll be like, oh my God, I got a Russell of Hotels at my fingertips. Oh my, this is great. So anyway, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining. And as always, have a great week.